Hi guys, this is Mark Rodriguez and you're watching Out on DVD. We're talking about the latest movies recently released on DVD. Now today we're going to talk about the latest in the series of DC Comics animated movies that just came out recently, Superman Unbound. First, let's start out with the story. Now, this version of Superman is already going out with Lois Lane, and she already knows that he's Clark Kent, but he wants to keep everything a secret in case that someday some supervillain ever finds out Superman is Clark Kent. Now, Supergirl's in the movie as well, and she's like brand new, and he's helping her adjust to the planet. And this version of Supergirl came from the city of Kandor, which was on Krypton back then, that was one day attacked by this evil alien Braniac and all these robots that actually captured and shrunk down the entire city and flew off with it in the spaceship. Now, the same kind of robots are attacking our planet, so it's up to Superman and Supergirl to stop Braniac before he destroys our planet like he destroyed many other planets. Okay, now for the characters. The main character, of course, is Superman himself, and I guess in this movie the thing is that he's very overprotective and worries too much about the people he cares about. He's all over Lois Lane. He doesn't want anyone to know that Lois Lane and Clark Kent are dating just in case that some supervillain never finds out that Clark Kent is Superman and he goes after her. And, well, she feels she can take care of herself and she basically throws herself into danger anyway. And he's also very protective of Supergirl because she doesn't yet understand the rules and the laws of the planet and everything. She's adjusting to Earth, but she can also take care of herself. So, you know, that's how it is. But that's the way Superman's always been. He has to understand that he can't be everywhere at once, and not even Superman can save everyone, every time, all the time, you know? Now, as for Supergirl, well, she's more like, she's adjusting to the world. She's a bit more alien than Superman is, because as we know, Superman arrived to Earth as a baby, so he grew up on Earth. He doesn't know all that much about Krypton, except for recordings or whatever. Supergirl grew up on Krypton until she was a teenager, so she has all that history. She was raised with Kryptonian like heritage and customs and everything. So she really is an alien in our world, adjusting to the laws and everything. And she's also very severely traumatized by what happened when Braniac attacked the city of Kandor. So even though now she has these superpowers, because of course our sun is what gives them powers, she's still very terrified to do anything when Braniac does attack the world. It takes her a while to remember that, oh yeah, I got powers here, you know, I can do something. So that's very interesting. As for Lois Lane, well, she's cool. She's kind of the usual, throwing herself into danger to get the story, but she does want like a stronger, steadier relationship between her and Clark. And I do like the scene where she is helping out Supergirl too, so she's kind of cool. And then of course the main villain here is Braniac, and he's like this I guess green alien that replaced himself with robotic parts, and he goes from world to world. He like wants information of everything, so he like gets information from a planet, steals like, I guess, one of the main cities, and then destroys the planet, and that's what he does. He just continues until I guess he ends up destroying everything, and of course, he must be stopped before he destroys our world and any other world. Now, what did I think of the movie? I thought the movie was pretty cool. It was pretty action-packed. Very exciting and everything. I really liked the part where Superman was captured and taken to the city of Kandor, because it was pretty cool. He actually got to finally hang out with actual Kryptonians and try out their food and everything. I mean, it's something he never knew. I mean, he was always raised on Earth. He knows almost nothing about his actual planet. So it was cool that he got to learn a bit of the history behind where he originally came from and everything. And I also like the comparisons. They really bring it up a couple of times in the movie, how Superman was basically raised on Earth, and how Supergirl was a teenager still, and she knows more about Krypton than what Superman does, you know? And, well, I guess I had a couple of nitpicks here and there about the movie. I guess the main nitpick itself is the whole story of Braniac. Basically, I mean, because I'm sure most of us have already seen the Superman animated series, and it's just more of the same, you know? I mean, that's what Brainiac's always been. He's always been some kind of robotic or computerish, whatever thing, that steals information from the world and blows it up, and steals information here and blows it up, but it's the same thing. It's what he's always done. It's always what his story is. So it felt kind of repetitive. I mean, I've seen all this before. The only thing that's epic is that they gave him like this epic design. Because there's most of the comic books, most of the comics, he is like a green kind of alien cybernetic thing. In the cartoon, they made him like a flat out like robot. So it is kind of cool to finally see a version of Braniac that looks more like he does in the actual comics. But still, the story is all the same stuff that we've seen so many times before. It's just that Supergirl's in it this time. And I guess the only difference is that this is like the first time Superman's ever heard of Braniac and stuff. But it also feels kind of weird because Braniac is one of those old classic villains of Superman. I mean, he was even in the those old Super Friends cartoons. I mean, so it feels kind of weird that we're to the point that Lois Lane already knows that he's Clark Kent and that Supergirl is already like on the planet, and yet somehow this is the first time he has ever encountered Braniac. So it's kind of interesting that way. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like if we had Batman with like the third or fourth Robin already, and yet this is the first time he's ever faced a Joker. It's just kind of weird. But I mean, it was a good movie overall. But like I said, it's like we've seen most of this before because it's the same plot, that the same evil plan Braniac always had, just a little different. And I guess another thing I don't like is the art style's kind of weird, kind of wonky. I'm not really used to seeing Superman with a weird, kind of rectangular, very thin, kind of squashed head, and I guess they're trying to go with some weird anime vibe or something. They even had those famous things where Superman's punching, it's like a picture, the kind of thing that anime always does. Kind of, I don't know. I mean, well, we can't really blame it too much because most of the times these DC movies, the art style is always based on the comic book they're inspired from. It's from a comic book that's called Superman Braniac. But still, I don't know. It took me a while to get used to it. I mean, yeah, later on to the movie, you kind of sort of forget about it and just go with the movie and the action. But it is very, very jarring at first. It is. It'll take you a while to kind of look past it, just ignore it, and just... Because I understand, I mean, Brainiac himself looks badass. He doesn't look like overly exaggerated, cartoonily boxed or whatever, like how Superman and Supergirl look. But I don't know. It's an acquired taste there with our style, I guess. Now, will you like the movie? Well, it kind of depends. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you're all Superman fans, you love these DC anime features, you probably love the movie. It's pretty epic. And of course, you do got the Man of Steel coming out next month, so I guess it kind of pumps you up for it because, yeah, more Superman action coming soon and everything. And who doesn't want to see Superman and Supergirl blowing up and destroying this alien robot army, just blowing shit up and epic fight scenes? It's just pretty cool. But the thing is, like I said before, the art style might turn you off. It might be kind of jarring at first. Or if you're a big fan of the old Superman cartoon, the animated series, you might be turned off a bit because the Braniac story, it's really nothing new. It's really nothing we've seen before. It's just the same old, same old. It's just kind of different because I guess it's the first time they ever faced each other. So I don't know. It's kind of different. But I don't know if you guys would like to see this if you already know the whole story behind it. And I guess one thing I also would have liked is, there's a scene in the movie where Superman leaves the world to go out into space and find wherever the hell Brainiac is and destroy him, hopefully before he ever finds us. And Supergirl has to defend the world by herself. And she goes around, basically defeating like terrorists and, cartel and drug dealers and all that international stuff and everything. And I think it would have been kind of cool if they kind of went like the extra mile there and did some cameos, show a little Supergirl beating up Metallo, beating up like the Silver Banshee or Killer Frost, or some other little DC characters here and there that could have guest starred in the movie. That would have been kind of cool to do that. And yes, I do know that wasn't in the movie, that wasn't in the comic book the movie was inspired from, but yeah, if you read lots of these comic books, they do lots of little changes here and there anyway, so it would not have hurt the movie much to have seen Supergirl beat up some DC villains to kind of spice it up, just at least make it a little different, a little more extra kick to it, if that's what you want to call it. So yeah, it's a pretty cool movie, but like I said, I mean, some people may not like it for the art style, or they may not like it because it's just the same stuff we've always heard from Brainiac stories. It's the same old thing. But that's pretty much up to you guys. So anyways, guys, that's the end of this movie. And of course, we'll probably be watching The Man of Steel. I know you guys will be watching The Man of Steel. So until then, we'll see you later, guys. This is Mark Rodriguez, and I'll see you on DVD.